This conference will now be recorded.
Welcome to Dr. TSPR show. This is Dr. Tangella Shiva Prasad Reddy, alias Dr. TSPR. Namaste, Adab, hello, and a warm welcome to my Guru Tulyulu Subbarao Garu. We are doing in a series of shows uh, with Dr. TSPR channel alongside Convergence for Sustainability (CFS), which has been connecting the entire world, whether it is knowledge promotion to expose misdeeds or corruption, or to enlighten people on science, which is life. So, in that series, today we are going to introduce another wonderful guest, Dr. Kaiser Jamil, scientist, emeritus, I should say. And today's topic is also of utmost importance, right from child to the aged. And how it is going to connect you, I will leave it to my Guru Tiluru Subbarao garu. Sir, namaste, sir.
Namaste. Uh, Welcome, Dr. Kaiser Jamil, and it's our great honor and a pleasure, having you on this platform. Dr. Kaiser Jamil, she is a true Hyderabadi from schooling to PhD and a Usmania product. Way back in 1971, she completed her PhD under Professor M.D. Naidu. Then it was regional, RR labs, regional research laboratories under CSIR. And she also spent an early career 2 years in Sydney, Australia. And to her credit, she has 42 PhDs guided, and it calls for a lot of patience actually and commitment, guiding the youngsters into the research. And to her credit, she has 315 publications, technical papers, and she published 3 books. She holds 5 patents. That's a great achievement. She participated and presented the technical papers in 26 international conferences, and she conducted several conferences, seminars, and workshops in India from a regional to national to international level. It's a great honor, once again, I say, having Dr. Kaiser Jamil on this platform. Particularly, I'm so impressed with her PhD topic. And in my professional career, I have come across very few entomologists. Entomology is something like, a forester doing his job in a remote forest area. Nobody understands them. Dr. Kaiser Zamil, she did her, PhD on temperature variations and effect on toxicity of pesticides on entomology. Yes, we do have these insects seasonal variation. Summer, rainy season, beginning of the rainy season, and then during the winter season, they do have their life cycle based on the temperature variations. Right from my childhood, I was so fascinated in my very early childhood. I used to go and attend some meetings, in my town. I am a town boy, so, and also in the temple. So suddenly, in the beginning of the monsoon, around 6:37, lot of insects will come. And you see, when you go early in the morning, you see, all dead. It's a cycle of not even 10 hours. I was wondering, what is this? And during my field studies and all, I came across the tribal people who collect all these. I request the Kaiser Jamil to tell about that. They collect all these insects. They do a light frying and consume it. They enjoy, relish it. And I am told it gives a lot of improvement for the eyesight. I have not come across any technical papers on that, but they have a very strong conviction on this. Right from northern Telangana towards Chhattisgarh, towards Madhya Pradesh, this is the practice among the tribals. And I may be taking more time introducing my guest, but the topic I would like to take it to in a popular mode actually. When I visited Kuala Lumpur, you have an entomology interpretation center right in Kuala Lumpur Gardens. Okay, and that's a great contribution, what I feel. And India did not venture much on popularizing the entomology. With this, wide background, and Dr. Kaisal Zamir, she is awarded with a lifetime achievement in 2015, and also Vaidya uh, ceremony in 2015 again. 2014 emeritus scientist, distinguished scientist by CSIR. Her contributions are so practical, and without taking much time, I invite Dr. Kaiser Zamil. Dr. Kaiser Zamil, please, join us for this. I was wondering, actually, the first question it struck me when I looked into your PhD. People made a lot of halagulla last 15 years that on emerging vector diseases because of climate change, swine flu, and recently dengue, whatnot. The climate has a direct impact on the vectors and their impact on life forms. So, curiously, what made you to study on this particular thing in way back in 1971?
Professor Subbarao, thank you so much for inviting me for this discussion. And I'm really happy to say that what you said about entomologists and their work is really true. We have not popularized entomology so much, but my curiosity was so much into that subject because as a child, when you are exposed to environment, natural, when you go to the gardens and other things, you find small crawling caterpillars, isn't it? So when you pick up those, put it in your matchbox like things and give them some leaves to feed, one day you'll find that it is opening up and it becomes a butterfly. So the transformation from a crawling creature to a flying insect is really, intriguing to me. So that's what I was thinking, that such a phenomena, biological differentiation phenomena existed in this, and the science of this could be enormous to know and to understand. So this is close to my heart what you're talking. And science education is very important. It cultivates learning, and science education is really a way of life. So what I was learning I could do in my PhD work, that when you acclimatize the insects to different temperatures, how they behave when you are spraying the pesticides. This intrigued me because at certain periods, all the insects died, but in some periods, in colder regions, they don't die. So this led me to do my PhD work, and I was really fascinated. So today, what I like to tell you about these diseases which you're talking, they are all vector-borne diseases. There are so
Yes.
many vectors coming up due to the stagnation of water and standing ponds and things like that. They breed there, these insects which are carriers of the viruses. Viruses could be the causative agents for these diseases, or parasites could be causative agents for our tropical diseases like malaria, filaria, and all these things. So this is a very interesting topic, and what I feel is science feeds the natural curiosity and makes learners tick and encourage them to explore the observable mysteries of nature. So, science expands our knowledge, and education is not just learning the facts, but training our mind to think. That is what science allows students to explore their world, to discover the things around them, and it is important foundation for education for all children. They start from mother nature, and they expand into various disciplines of science in biology, chemistry, microbiology, into all these things. So
Thanks
it's
that,
an
yeah. Thank
yeah,
you so much for your, passion for this subject and all. When I
yeah,
was traveling in 90s and all, US and other Western countries, people who were afraid, they want to make their homes sterile, driving all kinds of insecticides, including the spider, which does some kind of a sanitation in the home. And there was a change of mindset in the people. I have not seen in the country, but across the world, particularly in the USA, California zone, that uh, we better sleep with the insects, not with the pesticides. So the
yeah,
mindset has changed. They started
right,
understanding, they started
yeah,
trying to understand uh,
yeah.
the good contribution, positive contribution of this entomology.
Yeah, so that is called biological control of pests and insects, where you use these live materials to control the other weeds and other things which are in the environment. So this is a very interesting topic, and we did a lot of work in these areas, especially using pollution in the lakes where water hasn't grows like anything. It is such an enormous growth, and the pollution is feeding its growth. So what to do, how much of chemical can you throw in your lakes and rivers and all these things? So the best thing is to have a few insects or few enemies of these plants, cultivate them and throw them, so that the balance is maintained, so the pest host balance is maintained. So that is what should be the true science. Because using, we developed Neocatina icorni, Neocatina crassipes for the crassipes, that is the plant, and then we had the Fusarium alternarias. Some of the fungi and some of the insects together can control all these plants which are encroaching our lakes and rivers and ponds and whatever this thing, and the pollution which is feeding it, that has to be controlled, not just one. So science is always multidisciplinary. It encroaches not only physics, chemistry, and biology, but it has all physical aspects and many, many aspects to do this kind of research. So
I'm glad
really,
that
I
Yeah, I'm glad
You
that
get, yeah, it's
uh,
kind of critical thinking, which is brings you, like it's not single, it is multiple factors which need to look at science, and this comes through education only of various disciplines.
I'm glad that you referred about the water hyacinth.
Yeah.
As an young man, I walked into RR Labs in somewhere in '88, I think, and purchased the paper produced from the water hyacinth by RR Labs.
Mm.
I think you were in the active service in those days, actually.
Yes, I was very much. Yeah.
And I'm trying since then. I was trying, and ultimately in 2005, I went to Jorhat,
Mm. Yes,
CHR
yes.
labs, regional labs there, and I could find a similar. I'm told Jorhat was the initial initiative on the water science. And can you throw some light on RR Labs and your interventions on making the
Yeah,
paper from
that's
what hyacinth in
that,
'87?
really, that was a very interesting Commonwealth Science project for us, which we got from Commonwealth Science Projects. They sponsored this research for us, and we wanted to find water hyacinth can also be controlled through bioagents, but it can also, when you harvest it, you can use that as a product for making paper. And many people went on to make even dant manjan and this and that. Many products began to come up with water hyacinth, using that as a raw material. So that was interesting. I don't know, people were not buying or what, but people still, we had that machinery to make these products, to sell it, but somehow it was not commercialized. So that project remained only in our files, but we have those papers still in our RR Labs. Now it is called IICT CSR's Premier Lab. So we have those still those samples of the paper and all. So not only looking at its control, but also using that material, raw material, as useful, making it as a useful product. So I
Yeah.
can say that, yeah,
Yeah,
research
I
will,
feel, yeah, I feel so, sad about the government system
I
and
know.
the ignorance of the so-called administrators and others. Crores of rupees we are spending, and we took more than 300 crores for cleaning the Hussein Saga, and every year we are spending 5 crores. Across the road, the HMDA never walked into IICT or RR Labs. And I myself, at my individual level, campaigning on the plus points of water hyacinth. As a scientist, you can also throw light on. There are several technical papers on water hyacinth that has the quality to absorb heavy metals.
Yes, sir. We did. We published lot of paper and how many heavy metals it can absorb by doing a simple plant, bringing it into the lab environment, and having a small pond or small bucket-like thing, and then letting the plant grow for some time, and then adding nickel, adding cadmium, adding lead, adding any single metal, and look at the uptake in the plants. So we could find a whole lot of metals this plant could absorb and clear the environment of the poisonous metals which get into our environment. This was such a useful discovery, and even how the pH changes in the water from acidic to
Yes,
alkaline,
yes.
neutralizes the water. Fantastic work we did, but it just is, it's in my publications. That's it. It didn't take
Yeah,
over.
yeah. Thank you. Because why I'm asking is, you see,
Yeah.
I have come across some kind of a vertical conflict between the biologists and the engineers throughout my career, be it in the mining area, be it in water treatment or anything. And the biological treatment systems were always, suppressed and sidetracked.
Exactly.
Exactly, and the senior most I'm not, criticizing anybody, but the heads of CSAR and others, they have also not made any serious attempts to influence the people in the power to take up this so economical, a natural system, a natural solution. I actually congratulate now the present government, which accepted to promote the biological treatments, bioremediation treatments for wastewater. But it is still a long way to go to get the implementation instructions from the central government to the state. So we need to work on it. To your information, the World Bank has established an institution called Aqua Weavers in Guwahati
Hmm.
on water hyacinth. So it's a long way, and I really congratulate you and your team to bring out this and tell about it. It is the loss to the society. You see, such a great contribution, scientific, invention. People, everybody, sitting in the power, they talk innovations are the key, this and that. Water hyacinth conversion itself can create not less than 1 crore employment in this country. Can you throw light on this?
I'm sure what you're saying is exactly right, because it just not even removes these heavy metals. If in this we call it, I wrote a book also on water hyacinth, and I wrote the papers also on water hyacinth, and I showed that not only it clears heavy metals, but its uses, you can harvest that. And now some entrepreneurs came forward to make the bricks, building materials for some small housings or small uh, sheds and things like that, for the cow sheds and for all these things. They used to make lots of bricks out of water hyacinth, mix it with some kind of other binding materials, and use water hyacinth. That was a great entrepreneurship, which again we lost it, because I think there was nobody coming to buy those things. I don't know how all the good inventions are getting suppressed. It's kind of
Yeah, I feel,
surprising.
yeah, I feel sad. At the same time, I feel hesitated to tap the doors of CSIR that all these technologies should be made available through identify the facilitating agencies and create more employment in this country. And I request you, I take this as an opportunity to extend invitation to you that we will have a separate exclusive uh, web conference on application of water hyacinth, water treatment, climate change adaptation.
Fantastic, sir. It's really wonderful to have such a gathering. It'll be wonderful. It's like opening the Pandora's box. You'll find so many ideas, so many things which will come out of this single plant, and its role in the environment, its role in pollution, its role in profit making, profit generation activities.
Yeah, yeah.
So it has economic benefits also.
Yes.
So
So thank you so much for accepting the invitation. And now we move again back to our entomology. One thing I was, one thing I was surprising. You see, why I emphasized on the water hyacinth is entomology. Other aquatic life forms and all. People just brush aside. Okay, so I took this advantage of your presence to throw more light on this. And my question now is, you see, with the changing climatic conditions and temperatures, mosquitoes, they are not supposed to survive at 40-42 degrees temperature. But way back in mid 80s, I was uh, experiencing mosquito problem in Anantapur district, which was the hottest, district in Andhra Pradesh. And in 2005, I was wondering, in Jorhat, I had the similar experience of mosquitoes. Is this the mosquito is migrating to the high altitudes?
Actually, this is kind of adaptation, or it's called acclimatization. So you really, like evolution, the species are adapting to their new environments. They are not losing. It is in the genes which get evolved. So some genetic factor is involved in this, where you have the capacity to adapt. That's called, that phenomena is called acclimatization. So this acclimatization of insects also has a great role in our environment, and it tries to, I mean, struggle for life, struggle for the fittest, or the fittest will survive. All the theories, the geneticists of our previous uh, I mean, Nobel laureates, who Morgan and all those people, they have also told us about the benefits of the genetic component of the living beings. So that genetic component definitely intervenes to adaptation, survival of the fittest. So when they survive, they have acquired the quality of living further. So they continue to grow that, and they lose the characters which were at the lower temperatures, and they adopt to the higher temperatures in their genes. So it's a genetic evolution which happens, so they could survive. So that's
Thank
how.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, please, madam, please go ahead. You're saying something.
No, continue, sir.
Yeah, I say presently uh, you are heading the Department of Genetics in the Mahavir Institute,
Exactly.
and you are also honorary director and dean for the Institute of Biotechnology and Bioinformatics. And first, let us my query is, as an head of genetics in Mahavir Hospital and all. Way back in 90s, we were carrying out studies with the practicing medical practitioners in Patancheru area, pollution. Do you see the possibilities of genetic mutation because of prolonged exposure to toxicity?
Yes, sir, you got it right, because it really, if you go on banging and banging, it doesn't want to break. It will continue to live. That means even high exposures, for long exposures, it will adapt itself. Somehow that phenomena of the struggle for existence and survival of the fittest comes into being. And we do have genes which are susceptible genes and receptive genes, and uh, resistant genes. So all kinds of genes are available in our system, where the microenvironment of the cell gives us the environment gives us the protection to which gene becomes active. So this microenvironment of the cell is very interesting, and I've seen this kind of a phenomena happening in lots of cancer patients.
Oh,
The, yeah, genetic disharmony in those cells is the hallmark of the cancers. So whenever there is genetic instability, then you can know that something is going to happen to the person. So genetics is really a very important subject these days, and I'm so fascinated at discovering so many things in genetics, like drug gene interactions, pharmacogenomics, and all these subjects are so fascinating to me that I'm really probing closer and closer to finding out, how the gene influence our resistant mechanism, how they interact with the drugs when you are given. And some people are, they without understanding the genetics, they go on increasing the dose
Those
of
sources.
medicines, Okay, if they give 1 ml, it's not effective 3 times a day. Then they increase it to 2 ml, it's not effective. So if they increase, they said, "Arey, or thoda bada do," then they will give some 3 ml to 5 ml of the medicine. They go on increasing without knowing that they don't have that gene which is acting on the which on which the drug is acting. They don't have it. So whatever dose you increase, you will never get a reaction to cure the system, because the genes are not there to take it into this thing.
Take
So
it.
drug gene interaction is called pharmacogenomics, and that's a very important topic to study. And when we know the susceptibility genes are not there for the drug, we should remove the drug and give another drug. We should try another drug, not go on increasing the concentration of the drug where you'll poison your system and you make your immune system more weak. So it will not only poison your blood, it will also make your immune system weak, and you will see the reactions like that. Instead of that, people should understand that it is the drug is not effective. We can change a drug. I'm sorry, I'm in a meeting. Yeah, sorry, somebody was
Yeah, thank you.
speaking.
No problem. Um, you see, we were asking, say, right
Yes,
from 91 and all. Dr. Reddy was the head director for Institute of Genetics in 90s.
yes,
Uh,
yes.
okay, so we had the opportunity of interacting with him through the High Court committee and all.
Okay.
You see, government is planning to come out with a super specialty hospital in pollution affected areas.
Hmm.
What I feel is, people like you should come and recommend the government that there should be they should also encourage the research R&D in such areas which were suffering from pollution last 4 decades. You see, 4 decades is not, it's a third generation which is entering in that particular area. So I feel, like, Bhopal, 1984, the gas tragedy. We do not know what happened to it. As such, the research in this country is taking a last bench. Government is focusing more on engineering approaches in cleaning the things, making, but that is all superficial. ऊपर से शेरवानी अंदर से परेशानी, that is the situation the entire country. So this is what I'm looking for, and thanks that you have
Yeah,
endorsed
really,
that it creates the genetic
you're leading
material.
us to new avenues, sir. That's so interesting. You're leading me to new avenues. Actually, yeah, I feel I have limitations, so I
Because
didn't
why
venture.
I felt deprived is one of my good friends, Dr. Rangarao, entomologist, ICRISAT, you might have heard of it.
Hmm.
And we raised a voice against establishment of a pesticide factory adjoining ICRISAT, Walro. And this Walro industry used to, flush out the once in 3 times in a week all the toxic air, and that used to, pass over the ICRISAT research farms. Definitely, it will have its own entomology. And one fine morning, we came to know that the entomology research from Hyderabad was shifted to Africa. Is it not a great loss for agricultural research?
Yes, it is, sir. I do
It
agree.
is. You see, the people in the power, politicians, and the bureaucrats must understand the, planning. What should be kept at where. So this is one aspect actually is we are losing into it. So,
Yes, sir. I feel that science must respond to societal needs and
yes.
also global challenges.
And unlike in US, we do not have some kind of a orientation on science policy to the country. And our science policy was restricted in creating IITs and excellence of education centers, but never attempted in mainstream the biological sciences into the planning and creating a balance between the engineering, technology, and biology. So today several years I am promoting what is called the biotechnology, sorry, bioengineering. And we have another group in Switzerland which promotes engineering ecology. Still, our academic institutions, what I feel, are lagging behind in coming out with such combinations of biology and technologies. So, can you throw some light to the need of the hour at the academic institutions, and
See,
some
mhm.
kind of a you know light to the younger generations?
Yeah, actually, what I want to say is that, curious people are those who make discoveries, and their place can be local. But these pins or these points, they can be influenced by the world needs, what the world needs. It can be expanded as the society grows, as people grow, and they uh, have a common interests. So this can expand, and they are sometimes regional specific, sometimes global specific.
Yes, yes,
For global specific, I can say how the world came together to find a vaccine for COVID 19. We all scientists pulled together, everyone is looking at how to get rid of this new disease called COVID 19. So it's kind of, we are going towards new avenues. So I feel that science education is very important for the young generation. And then I also congratulate this YouTube. You can just push a button and you can look at housewives can use it. Push a buttons and see how recipe can be found there, or a farmer can push a button and see how the farm can be control. So for our areas, like for rivers and how to control water hyacinth or how to maintain your lakes, much information is be there on the YouTubes and all. Why can't we just focus on that, and then let the young generation know that from where they can start? What information is already available is there on Google, YouTubes, and other places. So they know the gaps. If they know the gaps, they will know from where to start. So the for example, you have so much of plastic pollution. So now the inventors were so happy, and it was such a boon at that time. But now we are facing the broth
yes.
consequences. We did not understand the consequences of this intervention. It was such a boon in the early 20th centuries, but today the ocean is flooded with these and all. So the youngsters can look at where they can start off from, how to get this out of the oceans, or how to get it, make use of it, or to discard it, or to do, there's so much of scope of science in any field you take, sir. There's so much of scope because the knowledge of what has been done is available everywhere to everyone, you know and that's why I would say that science education is so important. We should encourage our youngsters to do science, and to have a mind which will be critical in thinking, and really, it is it should be rooted in an authentic understanding of what science is. That's what I would give a message to the youngsters.
Thank you.
High quality science curriculum will prioritize pupils to building knowledge of key concepts in a meaningful way that reflects how knowledge is organized in all scientific disciplines, nowadays we are not sticking to one area of research like
Yes.
botany,
Yes.
zoology, or chemistry. They're all overlapping sciences. So now we are having all overlapping experiences. We have to be multitasking, and education is the only key which can unlock the gate of this golden freedom. You can use any science to discover anything. So we have to use these media for encouraging students to use these to enhance their knowledge and to get started from where we left.
Thank you. Actually, as a student, my first master's thesis was on biogeosurveys. So I'm an applied geologist by academics. So I was looking into the interaction of biology, chemistry, and geology. So
Yeah.
that was, I was branded as a crazy fellow in those days, but I felt myself proud, and today I use the same thing in cleaning the toxicity of the soils. Actually, you are also for some
Yes,
time
sir.
the advisor UPSC,
Right, right. That was
APSC,
fantastic thing,
yeah,
you know.
you
I
know,
was,
yeah.
yeah, it
Throw
was
some
such
light
a
on your
privilege.
experiences with UPSC and how could you able to bring a new ideas in them?
Sir, I was one of the interviewers there to select the UPSC people in Delhi. I had four occasions to be on their panel, so it was such a privilege that Government of India has invited me on the panel of UPSC to select these people there. So, uh, I mean, subject wise, I had to ask them, because
Yes,
they
yes.
need to know, cross section, the general knowledge they need to know. So some people could answer, besides their own subjects, they were engineering background, chemistry background, or various biology backgrounds, but they should know uh, other subjects besides their own subjects. So that's what I was in their panel, and as a technical person, and it was a really thrilling experience for me. And I also moved out from entomology to biology to biotechnology to genetics, so
So
maybe I am also like crazy like you people would say.
no, it is
What
only
to do,
the
because it's a curiosity which makes you to go into these areas, because you
yes,
can't
yes.
find a solution just sticking to one area, I feel.
One area.
So
No,
yeah,
they're all mixed. A human
yeah,
body itself is a physiology, chemistry, physics, whatnot, nutrition, everything. A human body is. So we need to
exactly,
understand this. And uh, my last, query today is, you have an extensive and intensive, wide experience across the disciplines. To started with temperature variation, which we are calling climate change today. And
yes.
do you have a message for the young generations on, the growing challenges under the climate change in entomology?
Sir, the only message which I can think of is that you have to learn the lessons from uh, the living beings there. How they are adopting themselves, but that's not the end all. We have to see how, besides ourselves, how we can rectify the environment by looking at other things in the environment. It's not that some species are disappearing. Yes, in evolutionary tree we can say that some species are disappearing due to climate change, and a lot of hazards are happening because of this climate change. I mean, ice is melting, and rivers are flooding, and so many things are happening. So uh, I would say that interdisciplinary education, and in other words, science education is the one most important channels of knowledge. It has a specific role as well as a variety of functions for the benefit of our society. So, creating new knowledge, improving education, increasing the quality of our lives is most important. if we
Thank
have
you
this
so
knowledge.
much for your thank you so much for your valuable experience, and it also inspires and motivates myself and my friend,
I'm thankful to you for
to
bringing out
and
all the things which were in my heart to report to somebody or the other. There you are.
so we are trying to identify people like you across the country and the world, so that recently I came across one professor, Professor Becker from Arizona University, who talks on paleo floods. He says engineers only look 100 years flood, but the rivers were born much ahead. Along with the earth, rivers were there. So much mega floods might have occurred there. How do we monitor it? So we do have, crazy people like us across the world. So I am trying to pool and create a consortium of this, knowledge, so that my friend is helping me to reaching out to the younger generations and all. And what we are doing to begin with is, I cannot wait for the younger generations to come and join me. We are creating this YouTube and releasing it in the public domain. Let it go. And we are also informing the teachers and the students that this is available, you look for that. So this is our small attempt, last 2 years. Again, thanks to COVID, we were struggling what to do, but God has given us a wonderful tool to reach out millions of people across the world. It's
Yes,
if it
sir,
is a
really.
physical conference, yeah, it's a wonderful thing, reaching out to people, get the feedback and others. I thank you so much, and you give me your valuable time, particularly on this particular day. And we look forward to your cooperation and guidance to continue science to people uh, in the coming days and the months. Thank you so much, madam. Thank you so much,
My
madam.
pleasure, sir, and thank you, Shiva Prasad Garu, to have me on your YouTube. Really, this is a fantastic thing. And Professor Subbarao, thank you so much for
But
having
one
And
me.
thing,
he,
madam, I didn't continue my academic thing. I'm not a professor. I'm basically my uh, 80% of career experience is as a trainer, associating with several training institutions in the country and uh,
So that makes
across.
you a professor. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
yeah, before I say bye, because again, I'm
Uh,
thankful to my wonderful guru, Subbarao Garu. And you should not forget, madam, he is a product of Roorkee. That is where, as an engineer, he has ventured into the biological sciences, impacting lives in symbiosis with environment. Such a wonderful human being. And I salute even my professor, Purushottam Reddy Garu, my guru, eternally, when he asks me casually, and Subbarao Garu will be there in the line. What are you planning to do next show? When I say I'm planning to do this, shut up, don't do that. Kaleshwaram, not Kaleshwaram. Don't do politics on Kaleshwaram. Let us expose the misdeeds, corruption, how beautifully relating rivers, the river culture, and how and why they failed. Because it's public money, thousands of crores, lakhs of crores of money. It's public money and it should be spent for public utility. When this is not happening, when he said cloud burst, how can someone come to Hyderabad, I mean Telangana, and start doing something on Godavari River, crisscrossing the entire length and breadth of the country? They said, you expose that. It is not cloud burst, it is Kaleshwaram catastrophe. And so beautifully, he brought out, Professor Subbarao 5 series, madam, we challenged. See, this is the evidence. First challenge, second challenge, third challenge, fourth, fifth. And we never politicized, no personal vilification. we were properly questioning the governance, because we are citizens and it is our money and we are a constitutional authority. They are all public servants, whether it is prime minister or chief minister. So in that pursuit, the knowledge, we were sharing the true knowledge, and that is why, that is how they try to suppress us by blocking the channel. And when we again represent with proper facts, where did we go wrong? Because we release a poster flyer much before the show, and with the mobile number, everything, so that people can join. And Subbarauji, he invites people across the spectrum, kindly come and discuss. We are here to discuss, because discussion only allows democracy to prevail, because we discuss, we differ, so that a decision is made. And that is the beauty of democracy. Sir, you wanted to say something, Subbarauji?
No, I think so. What I'm suggesting, my friend, and inviting Dr. Kaiser Jamil is we would like to hope organize an exclusive webinar. I will soon. I will approach you on water hyacinth and experiments across the world, and the plus points, the reality and myths and scientific facts of water hyacinth. So particularly your presence, and I will also try to invite Dr. Ramaya, who is a retired director, Jorhat, CSIR. Um, so I will try to pool these people so that the common man should understand the relevance and importance of these biological aquatic life forms. Okay,
Yeah,
so that's it,
wonderful.
and then we take leave. Thank you so much.
Yeah, wonderful. And before
Please.
I just sign off, before I say bye, and it is pleasure to host you, madam. 42 PhDs and so many nomenclatured inventory books, which we call knowledge, that is science, and purely documented, perfectly documented. And why do you think Dr. Kaisal Jamil, like scientist emeritus, with her 42 PhDs, with her research, right from RR labs to CSIR, even you went to UPSC, has been ignored by central and state governments, all political parties alike? This is first question. Then, when you have such knowledge, once you answer that, why the hell they are investing, reinvesting, again reinvesting our hard-earned money into something called startup, all those new avenues, when this entire knowledge is still or yet to be utilized?
Yes. Yeah, that is true. But that we leave it to the wisdom and discretion of the system.
And I would like to have one word with Dr. Kaisal Jamil.
Thank you so much,
No, no,
sir, for
don't.
being
No, no.
so
One thing
so
is,
kind of you.
you see, the very
Mm.
prime objective of this channel is to take the information to the common man, public.
That's it. That's it. We will leave the
Otherwise,
information.
otherwise, it becomes very difficult to enlighten, empower the people on such already established scientific facts. So that is
That's
the
what.
primary objective of it. We are
Yeah.
not here to question somebody and struggle and lose our mental peace. Okay, so we
We
need to encourage the youngsters.
yes.
Particularly, I am very keen in building the confidence among the young generation on science education.
That's it. That's it. That's the spirit. That's
India was a pioneer in the science education.
we have one
Once,
in our show now. Both of you are there,
once
respectively.
again, we need to, rejuvenate this spirit of science education in Indian society. Yes, sir.
Wonderful, sir.
With this
Wonderful. And
remarks, we take leave. Thank you so much for
yeah.
giving your time, madam. Thank you so much, Dr.
Once
Shivprasad.
again, very
Thank you.
kind of you, madam, not to put you into any sort of this thing, but we wanted to present, because as we have been doing with Dr. Subbarao Garu, for us, COVID-19 is a blessing in disguise. Now we are connecting. guests from wherever they are. They need not come to the studio. I need not send them any camera. And you have home comfort or office comfort, and you have authority or independence to speak on that subject. No question and answers. We don't believe in that. So this is how an evolution happens on any issue. And now, what better way than projecting 42 PhD Dr. Kaisal Jamil? How is that the Telangana state, the Indian government has forgotten her lot of research, which is going to be very, very important to the progressive growth as a sustainable development of any state or country. And I'm sorry to say, the world organizations sponsored by so and so, so many elites, they cater to only one specific thing, but not on these researches which are clearly there, they are ignoring. So I want people to become sensitive. We are giving you all the information, and you can probe, you can analyze what she has done, what she has been doing. And this show should be an eye opener for everyone, along with Hyacinth, which can generate crores of jobs and lot of money revenue, and people can utilize without disbanding that Hyacinth, which has been Professor Subbarao Garu has been championing. Now she has come out with scientific interventions. We are ready to host them. Along with that, I would request you to come in series on pharmacogenomics in regards to every disease and treatment. That is how your body is has become another hyacinth, unfortunately. So that also I request you. And thanks a lot for giving me an opportunity to host such premier minds. And I'm very thankful to Subbarao once again. And
My pleasure, sir.
we would love to host them again. And the link which is going to be generated will be the same link even after the show also. We are not going to change any link. And do support DRTSPR channels, citizen DRTSPR channels, and environment people DRTSPR channels. They are all in larger public interest. We provide you information with wonderful guests with evidences, and it is up to you how you utilize this information so that you become knowledgeable. And don't forget, you are not the last one in the society. Think about your kith and kin. What is that we are going to preserve, protect, or give them? That is the only aspect which we keep reminding you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
With another
My
topic,
pleasure.
I'm going to
Yeah.
see you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, madam.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.